Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier and welcome back to part 2 of Let's Play Homeworld Remastered. So here we are in the Great Wastelands. We have survived the burning of Carrick and we are now adrift in the galaxy trying to find our way to our homeworld.
Resource collector awaiting instructions.
So in the last video we built a resource controller. And that serves as an intermediary between the mothership and the resource collectors. It allows you to increase the efficiency of your harvesting operations. So we are now putting that into this asteroid belt where all the resource units are. There's quite a lot of resources here that we want to harvest. We're also going to build a second resource collector.
Assembly underway. Reporting.
And we are going to set this one out to harvest resources.
Ready.
Now we are going to take our heavy corvettes and we are going to use them to guard
Escort
the resource controller. We are going to set them to aggressive. We are going to keep our scouts back by the mothership.
Standing by.
We are going to set them to
defensive perimeter set. Escort pattern
so
locked
this
in.
way they will be more motivated to protect themselves and not expose themselves to enemy fire, but still engage the enemy, so they'll last longer. And that's one of the reasons why I like scouts a lot in this game, is because I can use them as a distraction. I mean, if you think of it in a sort of a boxing analogy type of way, they're kind of like the jab.
Resource
You're using them
complete.
to kind of get your hand in their face, you know, kind of block them, try to make sure that they don't know what you're doing, so that when you send your right out, they're not going to see it coming, and it's going to or they're going to be too distracted by your left to know what your right is doing, and you're going to be able to get those big knockout punches in.
Resources locked in.
So we're going to send our second resource collector out to harvest resources. Now there's going to be a trigger event in the beginning of this level. And so what we are going to do is we are actually going to manipulate that trigger event, hopefully, successfully. And we are going to take advantage of it and use it to buy ourselves some time to sort our fleet out. Now, once again, we still have all of our salvage corvettes.
Copy.
And what we are going to do is we are going to pre-move them
Destination locked in.
pairs.
Confirmed. Destination
to
locked
certain
in.
locations on the map, because
Roger.
once again
New heading
we are
set.
aware of how this plays out
Standing by.
to a
Destination
certain
locked
extent, and so we are going to take advantage of that,
in. Acknowledged.
and we are going to
En route. Confirmed.
also move our repair
Move order
corvettes out.
confirmed. Standing by. Moving to destination.
We're going to leave our assault frigates here
Roger.
for now, more or less guarding the mothership.
Guard order confirmed.
And we are going to prepare ourselves for the next event in the game. So what you're going to find if you're playing Homeworld, especially for the first time, is that
Roger. Repair order confirmed.
as
Ready.
you're playing the game, you're going to learn how the levels pan out, and you're going to
Repairs
learn how
initiated.
to best take advantage, to prepare yourself, and to pre-position your forces for these trigger events so that you're in the best possible position to take advantage of them. And so what you've seen me do with these salvage corvettes is I'm putting them out into positions where I know that enemy ships are going to come in, so that I can quickly move in, scoop up those enemy ships, and take advantage of the situation to, basically to work to my advantage, to put myself in the best possible position
Local
to deal with
resources exhausted,
situations
fleet. Moving on.
as they develop. And so what I've done is I've pre-positioned my forces just so that I can take advantage of those things. And now what I'm hoping to do is I'm hoping to manipulate an upcoming event in the trigger sequence to basically put myself in the best position. Now my resource collectors
Standing
are
by.
off harvesting resources right now, so I'm going to focus in on one of them. And as you can see, they dock with the resource controller and then transfer resources into the resource bay, which allows us to build more ships.
Long-range sensors indicate a
here
mothership-class
we go.
mass signature. It's coming in fast. Power readings are off the scale. Full combat alert. Stand by for contact.
Ambassador away.
Trajectory locked in. Hailing signal open on all channels. Entering magnetic field now. Almost there. Fleet, we've lost guidance and are being drawn in. There's a lot of lights. There seems to be some kind of activity inside, I can see.
We are the Bentusi, and welcome you on spacefaring cultures, beyond bound. The Evergreen trade routes were established for the first time by our ancestors. The resources you collect are of value to the Bentusi exchange. They will serve as an acceptable medium for trade. It has been our custom to equip trading partners with an exchange unit. It has therefore been provided to your ambassador as a gesture of goodwill.
Fleet, this is Ambassador. We are clear of the Bentusi vessel. All systems green. Harbor Control has released guidance and the exchange unit is secure. Receiving crews. Prep to quarantine chamber.
Roger that. Quarantine standing by.
Bentusi trading link established.
Alright, now we've made contact with the Bentusi. And now, ordinarily, what we could do is we could hold off on trading with them until we'd gathered a lot more resources. And we could take advantage of that, because it would basically pause the game until we harvested, or until we accepted the exchange with them. But what we're actually going to do is we're going to trigger it a little ahead of schedule, a little ahead of the ideal, because what we're going to do is we're just going to speed things up. We don't want to spend so much time sitting here watching things develop. So we're going to go ahead and accept the offer.
Tyrannic raiders, servants of the Taidan, are arriving. They must not learn of our contact. We must depart. All that moves is easily heard in the void. We will listen for you. Farewell.
So what we've bought from the Bentusi is actually technology. We have purchased ion cannon technology, so that allows us to build ion cannon frigates.
Construction underway.
So we're gonna get these moving, get these built, and let our resources continue harvesting. And one of the tricks to this game is you have to really pre-designate your groups.
Group
You know,
3
your
copy.
corvettes, your scouts, your
Group 9 copy.
your salvage corvettes, and all that, because it's really easier to maintain forces, especially when playing in the zoomed out view, which you'll be doing a lot later on when you're trying to manage forces in a lot of different areas on these huge battlefields. It really kind of helps take advantage of those things, and, well, here we go.
Group 3. Attack vector laid in.
Tyrannic Raider fighters are attacking our resource operation. Defend it and prepare for more hostile ships to arrive.
So here's the first stage of the conflict. We're taking on these fighters, and that's why we have Group 3 out there. And the fact that we had them, we were able to quick select them and then use them to engage the enemy fighters. And they are just going to clean these guys right up.
Standing by.
So let's go get a close-up of that action. These Corvettes have these little mini turrets on them that they turn and face the enemy ships and shoot them down with. Now, like these little mini, you know, self-directing turrets and whatnot, these were all in the original game all the way back in 1999. So, I mean, this is just one of the many little touches in the original game that just set it apart from so many other games. It's just, it was so intricate and so beautiful, especially back then, even with the graphics back then, which aren't that far removed from what you're seeing now. I mean, certainly they're far more detailed and far more richly colored, but this game was exceptionally beautiful back then.
Frigate under attack. Resource collector under attack. Group 1 reporting. Intercept course punched in.
So here comes the second wave of their attack. And we're going to take our assault frigates.
Moving to intercept.
And we're going to move them to attack
Resource
their
collector under
corvettes.
attack. Resource operation reporting enemy contact.
Focusing on that.
Ready.
Now the ion cannon frigate,
Resource collector taking enemy
its
fire.
gun is basically spinally mounted, so it has to bring the frigate to bear to engage the enemy fighters. So against little ships like this, it's not that great because it has difficulty tracking enemy targets. But against larger ships and other frigates, it's actually quite exceptional.
Resource collector under attack.
But even though it's not the ideal, we are going to send it in there. Hopefully it'll get some lucky shots in, because we don't want it exposed to what's going to come next.
Reported by the numbers.
Resource collector under attack. Resource collector taking enemy fire. Resource collector taking enemy fire. Berths are clear.
Alright, we're going to start building a support frigate. It's more or less like a repair
Resource
corvette,
collector
but much
taking
larger.
enemy fire. Acknowledged. Attack coordinates locked in. Mobile refinery under attack.
Now that we've got the assault frigates in, they should be able to aggressively deal with these enemy corvettes and start beating them down.
Several Tyrannic Raider capital ships have just emerged from hyperspace near the mothership.
Let's see. That's what I was anticipating.
Roger.
So I'm immediately sending in these salvage corvettes.
Roger. Ready. Attack vector laid in.
To basically
Stay on top of them.
steal these enemy ion cannon frigates.
Copy. Watch your 6.
We're under fire.
Confirmed.
So even as these guys move in to launch their little surprise attack, I've anticipated their surprise attack.
Confirmed.
And I'm now stealing their ships.
Mobile refinery taking enemy fire. Gotcha.
And that's one of the things that you're going to find, you know, as you're playing through Homeworld, is you're going to start kind of anticipating what the enemy ships are doing.
All right, let's heat it up.
And you're going to start more or less,
Standing by.
you know, creating all these ambushes
Repair order confirmed.
to take advantage of the situation. So there we go. We've captured our first ion cannon frigate. It's now going into the ship's docking bay. We've got a second one going in as well. And they've managed to snag up 2 more. There's only 1 more left.
Acknowledged.
But he is actually taking on one of my salvage
Understood.
corvettes.
Repair target locked in.
Now I should have a couple of salvage corvettes
Roger.
loose. So we're going to
Supporting
send
friendly
them
units. Roger.
to snag him up before he destroys that other salvage corvette.
We've got enemy contact.
Light fire confirmed. Reporting.
We're going to send our salvage, or our support frigate, to support
Repair order confirmed.
our forces out there. He's more or less like a large repair corvette. And there you go. We've stolen their whole surprise attack fleet. We're just waiting for all those ships to reprocess and become ours. And just kind of get pulled into the mothership. And they get recrewed as our ships. And once they're recrewed as our ships,
Attack vector laid in.
we can send them out to attack.
captured.
Ready.
You're looking fine.
Target confirmed.
So the enemy has got 2 more ion cannon frigates out here. But we're not so much concerned about them.
Roger.
Because the real
Moving to
concern
intercept.
is the ship that we don't see. Which is the ship that is launching all these attacks. Which is the carrier that we saw earlier on. So once
Standing by.
again, this is why we built all those
Taking
salvage
damage,
corvettes in the beginning.
Course set.
It's so we can take advantage of situations like this.
Roger.
Enemy frigate captured.
Now let's just kind of enjoy the
The
battle.
Raider carrier has been located. It is reinforcing their squadrons of fighters and corvettes.
Alright. Now, we can't actually capture that carrier. I wish that we could,
Hull
but we
breach.
can't.
Hull breach.
Frigate lost.
So we've actually lost, I think, one of our assault frigates now. But no biggie, because we've just
Reporting.
picked up so many.
Attack coordinates locked
So
in.
now we're sending all of our frigates after theirs.
Group 1 reporting.
We're
Attack
also
coordinates
sending our
locked in.
fighters after them.
Group 4 reporting.
And
Group
we're going to
3
send our
reporting.
heavy corvettes
Moving to intercept.
to make sure that this situation resolves itself, and then we're going to sick them.
Confirmed. Moving to intercept. Standing by. Engaging. Copy.
We're going to send them to actually
Group 1
support
reports victory.
the attack on the enemy carrier,
Reporting.
along with these last 2 frigates that we took. Now, ideally, we could have actually snapped up all their frigates, but, you know, for the sake of alacrity, for the sake of getting this done in a reasonable amount of
Local
time,
resources
and
exhausted.
so
fleet.
people aren't just
Moving
going
on.
to sit
Ready.
there watching resource collectors fly around, we're going to actually just kind of step this up a little bit. So there you can see the spinally mounted gun on our ion cannon frigate.
Copy.
And the similar version here on the Tyrannic Raider frigates. Here's our little assault corvette,
Reporting.
or our assault frigate rather. We're actually going to send the support frigate out to repair him.
Alright, hang in there.
The carrier is retreating. If it escapes, that will warn the Tidan fleet of our pursuit. Do not allow them to hyperspace.
Alright.
Supporting friendly unit. Under fire. Request order.
Yeah, we've got him. He's not going to get away. Unfortunately, there seems to be some issues with the collision model here. This guy is just bouncing around all over the place instead of repairing. There it goes. And there you go.
The Tyrannic Raiders have been defeated. We can now return to our immediate goal, preparation for an attack on the Taidan fleet that devastated Karak. Using data from the Taidan vessel captured at Karak, we have been able to determine their location. If we strike now, we can take advantage of their damaged condition. Hyperspace coordinates have been transferred to Fleet Command.
So we've basically completed this level. We've done it in a fairly optimal fashion. We have augmented our fleet with a bunch of free frigates that we've stolen from the Tyrannic Raiders. We lost one assault frigate, some fighters, and some heavy corvettes, but we've gained a lot more in return. There's still plenty of resources to be harvested, so we are actually going to scoop those all up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop commentating here and move the rest of this along in an accelerated fashion, because resource units are critical to our moving forward and our building and maintaining our fleet. So we don't want to leave them behind and just click hyperspace and go. So what we're going to do is we are going to finish the harvesting process.
Standing by.
And we are going to basically get ready for the next level.
Acknowledged. Repair order confirmed. Reporting.
Well, I guess this would be actually an opportunity while we're waiting for all these resources to come in to talk a little bit more about the game and about what we're going to be doing going forward. So as you can see, we got a lot of use out of the salvage corvettes. We were able to quickly steal a large portion of the enemy fleet, alleviate what would have been potentially a deadly ambush by using those ships, and that's one of the reasons why salvage corvettes are just so critical in Homeworld. And being able to pre-position them and knowing what's going to happen by replaying levels and kind of trying to find not just a way to get through it, but the optimal way to get through it, it really allows you to build a fleet that can punch above its weight and use technology that otherwise might not even be available for it, to you as a player, for sometimes a few levels, before you would normally get access to that technology, such as getting access to ion cannon frigates, a large number of them before you would normally be able to, getting access to eventually destroyers, heavy cruisers, and things of that nature before normally you would be able to build them yourself. And of course we are building a huge amount of resources here, so we're going to take advantage of that. And we are going to build...
underway. Berths are clear.
Let's see... Build another support frigate and 4 more ion cannon frigates. And then we're going to add in some assault frigates to basically help us sweep enemy enemy corvettes out of the sky. And then we'll use the rest of our resources to build a large portion of scouts to once again serve as a distraction for the enemy forces that we'll face in the future. Now, one of the things about scouts is that they have a limited supply of fuel.
Copy.
Unlike the larger ships, which are more or less unlimited, scouts do have a limited supply of fuel. So what we are going to do is we are going to dock
Group 1 reporting.
our
Dock order
scouts.
confirmed.
And as you can see, some of them are going over to the resource controller
Ready.
because it is something of a mini carrier. And they will actually snap onto it on these various landing pads.
You are clear to dock.
Ion cannon frigate complete.
That's just one of the little intricacies in this game that made it so amazing. Is all the ships docking with each other and all this. This was all in the original game. Just made it such a joy to play and just so intricate.
Support
and so
frigate complete.
just so richly detailed for a game that more or less came from a game development company called Relic that no one had ever heard of. That all of a sudden just showed up with this game on the scene and just blew everybody away. It was just amazing. It's just one of the things about this game that makes this game just such a joy to play, and just the storyline and just the rich detail in every aspect of the game is just what really blew you away as a player. I mean, when this game first came out, it came with this giant, almost like novel-sized game manual that had all this rich backstory on this planet that you start off on, Carrick. You know, talking about all the different clans and kiths on Carrick. And so when you actually started playing the game, you actually kind of felt an attachment to the planet Carrick and to the people that lived on it. And so when you see it getting wiped out, as we did in the last video, it was a much, you know, it was a bigger hit emotionally to see that and to be just so involved in the game, to be so connected to it. It's something that's really lost in a lot of the newer games that come out, because they don't really spend a lot of time on lore and backstory, and so you don't really find yourself quite as attached to the characters and to the world as you do in a game like Homeworld. I mean, there's just so much. If you're just seeing this for the first time, there's just so much that you're not seeing. Let's make sure we don't have any research that we're missing out on. No. What do we got in terms of resources? We got a ton of resources. Now, some people like to build scouts, or rather interceptors, sorry, instead of scouts. I prefer scouts because they're disposable and they're easier to build and they cost less. And realistically, I mean, fighters are just getting shot out of the sky all the time, so I try to be more economical.
Construction underway. Construction underway. Assembly underway.
And so I try to use, for the disposable ships, I try to use a lot of cheap and easily replaceable ships. And scouts are it's so easy for them to avoid enemy fire, especially when they're set on defensive, that if you have a large number of them, they can tie up an enemy force. And so while the enemy force is tied up with the scouts, you can send the other ships in to basically, you know, like I was saying before, like they're a distraction, and then they don't see the knockout punch that's coming, which is your heavier ships, because they're too busy trying to shoot down the scouts that they can barely even hit.
Scout complete.
And as you can see with the ion cannon frigate, with its inability to shoot down the smaller ships, you can easily distract an enemy's ion cannon frigates, and then while they're tied up trying to shoot down the scouts, you can send in salvage corvettes to just scoop them all up and take off with them. And that's just it's that thick and rich layer of those layers of tactics that you can build into this game that just make it so endlessly replayable. I mean, you can always kind of go through it and you can try to build your fleet any number of ways, or you can just challenge yourself to try and see how many enemy ships that you can salvage and steal out of every level.
Local resources
and
exhausted. Fleet moving on.
It gives you so many different ways to play out the levels and so many different ways to explore the game. It just makes the game so interesting, and it's just so fun to play. So I was actually going to time accelerate this, but it looks like we've pretty much picked up all the resource units, and if I remember correctly, there's nothing further off in the belts. And we are starting to develop a pretty sizable fleet here. And our next combat mission is going to be the confrontation with the fleet that basically destroyed Carrick. We're going to be getting our revenge on them, so we want to be going in there with our best foot forward, our best fleet. So we are going to, let's see, we've got 2 support frigates now. That's pretty strong. We wanted to get some assault frigates.
Assembly underway. Construction
so
underway.
More of those. And that should pretty much sort us out for the next battle. So here I will definitely time accelerate, just marshal up the fleet, collect the last of the resources, get a few final ships built. Of course, I'll show it all in time acceleration, and then we will jump to the next point in the game, which is where we will leave off right at the beginning of the next battle, and our confrontation with the fleet that destroyed Carrick.
We have repaired the damage incurred by the Tyrannic Raiders. Combat and sensor systems returning to optimal functionality.
Our first hyperdrive test led to near genocide. Carrick, destroyed. All of us, all that's left, hunted by 2 alien races.
We must focus on the matter at hand. Elimination of the fleet that destroyed our world. Coming up on Hyperspace Coordinates.
Hyperspace successful. Current position and pre-jump coordinates are in perfect alignment. We are on target.
We detect large resource deposits but no vessels. It is possible that the Tidan could be hiding in the denser portions of the belt. It may cause interference with our sensors. Send probes to investigate. All fleet assets should be kept on alert.
Alright, folks, this is Minion Soldier. I'm back again. So we have
Resource collector awaiting orders.
reached our destination. We are about to attack the fleet that destroyed Carrick. I'm going to leave this off here and we'll continue in the next video with this battle. Thanks for watching, and please feel free to like and subscribe and rate this video.